From the Book of Mysteries by Jonathan Cahn, 199. The Eucharistia. We were sitting by the fire at night. The teacher had in his hands a piece of unleavened bread, matzah. He broke off a piece and handed the rest to me. We partook. The bread of the Passover, he said, as Messiah gave to his disciples at the Last Supper. Communion, I said, which is from the Passover. And do you know what some call the bread? The Eucharistic. The Eucharist, I replied. Yes, and do you know where that word comes from? It comes from the Greek word Eucharistia. It appears in the scriptures, but it doesn't mean bread. What then? Eucharistia means to give thanks or to say a blessing. So why do people think it's the bread? It was what the Messiah said over the bread. It was the Jewish people have said over the bread for ages. It was the Hebrew blessing known as a motzi. He said, Barak Ata Adonai Elohim Malik Ha Olam Ha Matzi Lechem Min Ha Atzeret, which means, blessed are you, Lord, our God, King of the universe, who brings forth the bread of the earth. So the Eucharistia is not the bread, but the blessing of thanks for the bread? Yes, said the teacher. And what does that tell you? That life is not about thanks? Exactly. And it tells you that your life does not consist of objects, but the blessings you say over them, the things you give thanks for. You see, it doesn't matter how much or how little you have here on the earth. What matters is how much thanks you give for what you have. The one who is rich in possessions but poor in thankfulness is in the end poor. But the one who is poor in possessions but rich in giving thanks is in the end rich. And what was the bread over the Messiah gave thanks? It was a symbol of his suffering and death. Yet he spoke a blessing over it and gave thanks for it. For those who give thanks in all things have the power to turn curses into blessings and sorrows into joy. Power of the Eucharistia to live a life of blessings. The mission. Seek today not to increase what you have, but to increase your thanks for what you have. Give thanks in all things. The greater your thanksgiving, the greater will be your life. Scripture references, Psalms 136, Luke 22, 14 through 23, 1 Timothy 6, 6 through 8.